Namaste, I'm Caren, and welcome to this short hip opening yoga sequence. We'll get right into the asana so that you can find more freedom and fluidity in this lower part of the body, which tends to feel stuck and tense. You might enjoy having 2 yoga blocks for this practice. Arrive on your mat in downward facing dog. So come to a tabletop position to start, and then walk your hands forward. Step your legs back into high plank. Lift your knees to discover your distance for downward facing dog. Let the shoulders stack right above the hands and the heels be high over the toes. Then inhale and lift your hips into Adho Mukha Svanasana. Spread your fingers nice and wide and elongate through the back of the legs. Bring attention into your torso and lift your rib cage up, finding a slight tilt of your tailbone toward your heels, lifting up from the low belly. Find a couple spacious and deep breaths here. Activate through the soles of the feet by lifting up from the inner ankles. As you breathe, find your steadiness clawing into the mat through your hands and your feet. On your next breath in, send your right leg up overhead, and then exhale, step it forward in between your hands into low lunge. Drop your left knee down to the mat and flatten those toes. Inhale and reach the arms up overhead, Anjaneyasana. You're welcome to stay here, or let your hands settle on the front thigh, whichever feels more spacious for your shoulders. If you do have the reach of your arms overhead, elongate through your side bodies. Take your right hip back in space a little bit and lift up from your outer left hip. Then drag your right heel backward and your left knee forward, and find that gentle lift that arrives at the base of the pelvis. One more breath in. Breathe it out and release your hands to the mat. Then widen your front foot out to the side. Turn the toes out 45 degrees and plant your hands to the inside of that, into the inside of your mat. Into lizard pose, Uttanapristhasana, you have the option of lowering to your forearms or just staying here and lowering the hips down toward the ground, gently in their own time. If you'd like to take a block or a couple blocks to stack, this is a great way of having the ground come up to meet you so that your forearms can rest and the upper body feels loose without any tension arriving, simply because you're trying to reach the ground with your arms. Rediscover the breath deeper in the belly. Experience the whole torso, front, back, and sides, filling up with air and emptying back out again. Now inhale, plant into your hands, lift through your heart. Set your blocks to the side if you use them. Keep the left hand on the mat and inhale your right arm up toward the ceiling and then reach it backward toward your left foot. Now roll the shoulders down the back, sink into your hips, press solidly into your right foot and curl your left toes. With the strength of your left hamstring, pull here gently at the glute and take the leg in, maybe to clasp. Hold on to the foot or the ankle if that's comfortable for you. And then from this space, press the foot into the hand and twist toward the front thigh. Notice if the left shoulder is creeping forward, send it back in space so the chest can be long and wide. One more breath in. Breathe it out and release the foot. Release the hands. Now heel toe the right foot all the way over to the left for Kapotasana pigeon pose. As you lay the shin bone down onto the ground, connect with the fingertips to either side of the front foot and keep the back toes curled for a moment to find a lift of the left knee. Now inch those toes backward toward the edge of your mat so that you feel your pelvis start to loosen down to the ground. Set the kneecap down and flatten the top of the foot. Look over that left shoulder at the leg and ensure that the ankle, the toes, the knee, and the hip are all in one line. Now flex through the right foot and take the right hip back in space. If anything is happening in your knee that's not comfortable here, feel free to come onto your back for figure 4 on your back, stacking your right foot on top of your left knee. Otherwise, let's stay here just for one more breath, working length into the torso. Take an exhale and melt the torso forward into sleeping pigeon. Use your forearms as a barrier to the ground. Maybe you can grab those blocks if you'd like to bring the ground back up to you. And if you want even more, bend your elbows out to the side, stack your hands, and lower your head to the mat. No matter how the shape looks, take a few moments to be completely absorbed in how it feels. And if something does not feel appropriate, feels like pain, tingling, or numbness, readjust yourself or come out of the shape entirely. You're seeking that just right feeling of sensation. And let that whole upper body begin to melt with every exhalation. Inhale, plant into your hands, and begin to lift your heart. Reach yourself back upright. And then tuck the left toes, lift the knee, plant the hands in front of you so you can sweep the right leg all the way back into downward facing dog. And then once you're here, just settle back into down dog for a moment, bringing full awareness into the right side of your body, your right hip, your right leg, comparing that with the left. Just to notice the change that you've created. On your next breath in, lift your left leg up overhead. Exhale and step it through in between your hands. Anjaneyasana, tap the right knee down, flatten the toes. Inhale and reach the arms up overhead. Or again, place the hands onto the front thigh. As you allow the hips to start to dip down toward the ground, and you might notice that you can get lower because you have more access on this right side, continue to draw your left hip back and your right hip up, almost as if you could lift it up from the outer edge of the pelvis so that the bony tops of the pelvis come level with one another. If you've chosen the reach of your arms, extend purposefully through your fingers and find your middle rib cage hugging in slightly. One more breath in. Breathe out and lower your hands down to the ground. Now walk your hands to the inside of the left foot as you heel toe it out to the edge of the mat. Turn the toes out 45 degrees. Plant through your hands. Maybe grab your blocks if that was helpful for you to stack your forearms on. Begin to sink down into lizard Uttanapristhasana, letting the hips open in their own time, and then deciding, okay, maybe I'm ready for my forearms on blocks or ground. Bring back that feeling of deep breath, of filling up completely through the whole torso, and releasing completely on your exhale. On your next breath in, plant into your hands, start to rise through your heart. Blocks to the side. Right hand meets the ground. Inhale the left arm up, twist open toward your left thigh. Then bring the left arm back behind you, curl into your right toes. Roll the shoulder tips down the back and send the navel slightly in toward your spine. Now from that space, pull through the right buttock and the right hamstring so that the leg can come in to take hold with the hand. Now press the foot into the arm, soften your elbows, and dive your hips down through a bit of passivity, loosening into the pelvis and feeling this sensation perhaps really start to express itself in the right quadriceps. Let's breathe in. Let's find one more breath here. And breathe out, release the foot and release the hand back down to meet the mat. Now heel toe the left foot all the way over to the right and lay the shin bone down into Kapotasana. One note here that the front shin does not need to be parallel to the front edge of your mat. That's if you want more opening and it's okay for your knee. But if it doesn't feel comfortable for your knee, of course, you can bring the heel closer in toward the pelvis. Keep the right toes tucked for a moment, lift that kneecap, inch the toes backward in space, and then set yourself down so that you're off of the top of the kneecap, more so rolling on the top of the right thigh. Take a gaze over your right shoulder to ensure the leg is all the way at length, stacked through the joints. Then flare gently through those left toes. And exhale, maybe lower into sleeping pigeon, using forearms or releasing the whole upper body down to the ground. As you move to your depth, begin to surrender some of the musculature of the legs. Surrender a little bit of the grip. Imagine each big breath that you take permeating the place of most tension, having space to move into the tension because of your surrender of the muscles. Stay with your breath, observing the sensation in the body and knowing that it will be over soon. So allow yourself to be present while it's here. We'll stay here for a short period of silence. Inhale to transition, plant into your hands and begin to lift your heart. Lift your torso upright. Curl your right toes under. Plant into your palms. Lift the right knee so you can lift the left leg. Sweep it back. Downward facing dog. Stretch long through the thighs. Draw the heels slightly downward while you rock some weight into the big toe mounds and the index fingers and thumbs. Find one more breath in. And breathe it out, set your knees to the ground. Come to have a seat with your feet in front of you. Set your right knee underneath your left and hug your left knee in and stack it on top of the right. Alternatively, if Gomukhasana cow-faced legs is too much for the legs, take that right leg, send it long. Now walk the feet perhaps wider and more forward if you want more sensation in the hips, and then settle your glutes onto the mat, even scooping a little bit of the flesh away so you can feel more even. We'll stay right here. If you're feeling it, stay right here. If you want a little bit more, begin to offer some compression downward toward your legs using your hands to stabilize against the ground. Find a big sweeping breath into the whole torso. Let it create space on the inhale and fill up that space. And then keep the feeling of spaciousness as you empty all of the air. On your next inhale, lift your chest if it went down. Take your hands behind you. Unwind through the legs. Send them in front of you, and let's windshield wiper the legs to one side, dropping the knees toward the ground, and then the other. As you come up back to center, let's pause and take the left leg underneath the right and the right knee on top. Now once again, you can straighten the bottom leg if that better serves your legs today. Scoop the flesh out from underneath your glutes, and then maybe you walk the feet a bit wider, a gentle flex into each foot. Lift up tall through your spine to start, then soften your knees and maybe offer some compression on the exhale. In these moments of stillness with yourself, notice how much activity can still be in your body. And stay present with any sensation you feel, breathing into it. Inhale and lift yourself back upright if you came down. Lean back, and this time unwind the legs and send them long to the edges of the mat into our wide-legged seated forward bend. So come to a moment with your legs where you could place your hands behind you and then scoot forward just enough to where you feel it in your inner legs. And then flex through the feet. Press the big toe mounds forward and the pinky toe mounds come back toward you slightly. Now inhale and let's lengthen through the torso. Get longer through both sides of your rib cage. And then exhale and just hinge forward to when you feel it, drop your hands to support yourself in that space. Then draw your chin slightly in. Continue to activate your kneecaps. Feel them lift, feel the quads taut so that the undersides and the insides of the legs can receive the stretch. Loosen your belly and breathe deep. Now inhale, walk your hands back toward you, lifting your chest. Take your hands underneath the hamstrings, pull your knees in with your hands, and cross here at the middle of your legs into an easy pose, Sukhasana, a cross-legged seat. If you'd like to sit up on something to provide further comfort for your hips, grab something now. or just remain as you are. Bring your hands to your heart and close your eyes. Let all of your awareness melt down into the pelvis and into the legs. And enjoy that sensation of aliveness that you've created. Release any story that may have arisen during this practice. Any feelings of not good enough, or judgment, or criticism. And let them go as easily as you take your next exhale. Thank your body for what it's able to do for you. And thank yourself for practicing today. I honor your light. Namaste. I hope you enjoyed this short hip opening yoga sequence. And if you did, give the video a like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already for more yoga and meditation videos. Thanks for your presence, and I'll see you next time.